Now to a CTV News exclusive. A man who says his life-saving medication was seized at the border in St. Stephen is calling for a change in the medical regulations surrounding Lyme disease. He's being treated for it by a doctor in the United States, but he now finds he can't bring his prescriptions back into Canada. CTV's Emily Barron-Kadloff in Canning, Nova Scotia with his story.
I think I only had days to live. I was suicidal, really suicidal.
That was Donnie Blenus last year, just before he began taking medication. He contracted Lyme disease 3 years ago, and as each year went by, became more and more ill.
Really didn't think I was going to be alive the next morning, so I took a picture that night, because I actually thought that was the night.
Blenus' friend recognized the symptoms. He too has struggled with the disease for the last 4 years.
You could not think, you could not lucid vision, your hearing, heart murmur, feet and joints so sore. I had 2 knee replacements because of Lyme disease.
Lockhart took Blenus to his doctor in Maine, where he was put on a cocktail of antibiotics, vitamins, and medications. Within days, he says his health improved. For the past year, Blenus has traveled to the U.S. every 3 months, spending 9 hours in the car each way and paying close to $2,500 out of pocket for these medications. But 2 days ago, he was stopped at the Canadian border and his drugs were seized. Blenus was told that because the individual drugs are available for sale in Canada, he had to purchase them inside the country.
I informed them if I didn't have my medication that I would probably die. And they said that was the law, and they took it.
Blenus' drugs are available for sale in Canada, but doctors aren't able to prescribe them as a treatment for Lyme disease or in the amounts he needs. John Lohr, MLA for Kings North, says the province can change the legislation, but they're dragging their feet.
The fact is, in Nova Scotia right now, you'd be better off going to a veterinarian than a doctor. A veterinarian would treat much the same way that U.S. doctors are treating.
Health department numbers indicate there were over 700 cases of Lyme disease 2 years ago, and that number is expected to go up. Lohr says he's seen multiple people travel to the U.S. for treatment, and he's worried others could get stopped. People like Archie Lockhart, who's supposed to make the trip next month.
I'm pretty nervous and pretty worried that I'm going to get these symptoms back, and I felt like Donnie, like life is not worth living unless I get this medication.
Blenus says the longer he's off his medication, the less effective it becomes. And right now, he says he's running out of time.
I spoke with Donnie and Archie's doctor, and he told me he treats upwards of 100 Canadian patients for Lyme disease, and that number is continuing to grow. He told me that he's lost sleep over Donnie's case and that he is willing to come to Nova Scotia and train local doctors, but first the legislation needs to change. In his words, it's hurting patients, not helping them. Steve?
All right, Emily Barron-Kadloff for us in Canning tonight. Thank you, Emily.